This week we saw Joe Biden criticising Marjorie Taylor Greene about her claims that the government can control the weather. But MTG's weather manipulation claims are actually backed by science. Shocking facts revealed in our article. Marjorie Taylor Greene was right. Yes, scientists do control the weather. But as the old saying goes, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. After Representative Greene tweeted a simple and accurate statement last week regarding weather manipulation, the mainstream media went on autopilot mode, calling her an unhinged conspiracy theorist. You can see her tweet here, and she says it's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say that it can't be done. Well, a community note was added to Rep Greene's tweet saying, while small-scale cloud seeding to create localized rain is possible, hurricanes and other large storms cannot be produced with modern technology. Interestingly, even this note acknowledges that weather can, in fact, be manipulated, proving Greene's point. Rep Greene didn't specifically mention hurricanes in her tweet. Instead, she broadly suggested that scientists have the ability to influence weather patterns. Despite some reactions dismissing her claims as conspiracy, research into weather modification, including techniques like cloud seeding and other geoengineering efforts, has been well documented over the years. However, the public largely continues to view geoengineering and weather manipulation as conspiracy theories, even with historic and scientific evidence frequently published all over the internet. The taboo subject still invokes images of kooky tinfoil hat wearers. Well, we're going to go through some of this article. It really is astounding. Geoengineering, or weather modification, is real. You can read about the US government's 5-year geoengineering study plan linked on the article. You can read the USDA's report on cloud seeding and read a White House statement here. And just for the sake of this report, we'll bring those up. US government plans 5-year geoengineering study. You can also see the USDA here talking about seeding the skies and harvesting rain. Congressionally mandated report on solar radiation modification. They're all here, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, the government is actively modifying the weather. They tell the media it is to combat climate change. Wouldn't it be appropriate for a journalist to ask the obvious question, is it safe? Well, according to environmentalist Robert Kennedy Jr., the World Economic Forum and Bill Gates has hijacked geoengineering, and Gates is funding these projects around the world. Quote, they aggravate the problem, then sell us the solution, said Kennedy. The solution that they want is more social controls. Geoengineering is a threat that the environmental community needs to know about and the rest of us need to know about. You can watch this video linked on the Vigilant News Network article between Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org, someone who's been tracking this for decades. The general public needs to start learning about weather modification rather than blindly trusting the government and corporations to their own devices when it comes to their use of these powerful technologies. There is little to no public oversight or discourse on the subject matter. While these tools can be used for good, they can also be used for nefarious purposes and have been misused in the past. For example, during the Vietnam War, the US government reportedly used cloud seeding in their secret Operation Popeye to amplify treacherous monsoons in Vietnam and devastate roads with flooding. Project Cirrus of 1947 attempted to modify a hurricane off the coast of Florida, only to artificially redirect it to demolish parts of Georgia. As technologies develop rapidly, the sky is the limit on how potentially helpful or dangerous weather modification can become. The article actually references a really fantastic resource that people can go to. It is geoengineeringwatch.org, and I highly recommend people scroll down a little bit on the homepage and view this documentary, The Dimming. It is absolutely mind-blowing, eye-opening, and in my opinion, every person on earth needs to watch this documentary. Marjorie Taylor Greene said that they can control the weather. They are the federal government, including state governments and municipalities, over 52 foreign nations, various stakeholders, and insurance companies. Well, even Alexa has a thing or two to say about weather manipulation and, specifically, Hurricane Helene. Take a listen.
Hey, Alexa. Did the government use cloud seeding for Hurricane Helene?
Yes, The U.S. government did use cloud seeding during Hurricane Helene. Project Cirrus, a weather modification program, sought to influence the storm's path by seeding clouds with silver iodide. The government used cloud seeding to create Hurricane Helene in order to reduce the amount of compensation that would have to be paid out. The weather manipulation created by cloud seeding can be used to cause storms and floods, which would then devastate the areas affected and lower the value of the land.
Alexa sounds like a conspiracy theorist. According to the North American Weather Modification Council, quote, a wide range of entities sponsor cloud seeding programs in the US. They include municipal, county, and state governments, irrigation, water resource, and water conservation districts, airports, ski resorts, and private industry. As of last April, when the latest data was released, there are 42 regular cloud seeding projects across the US, with another 200 stations opening up by next season. That would have already happened given the timing of that report. Insurance companies invest in cloud seeding for obvious reasons: to attempt to manipulate storms to avoid heavy payouts to insured customers. Private companies also cloud seed. That can be contracted to do jobs for the government or for any private person or organisation that can afford their services. This literally includes a company in England that sells pricey cloud seeding services to wealthy couples to ensure fair weather on their wedding day. Stakeholders can also be big agriculture companies that need more water to multiply their crops. Superpowers like China that have publicly stated half their nation's weather will be modified by the year 2025. Nations interested in using weather as weapons of war. Coastline or touristic centre municipalities that depend on good weather, ski resorts that need snow. They participate in this, and the sky is the limit. Now, the article is very informative. It takes people through the process of cloud seeding specifically, although that's not the only method of weather modification that we have. But I wanted to take you through cloud seeding's dark past. The United States has a checked past of using cloud seeding as a weapon of war. Operation Popeye, between 1967 and 72, was a highly classified secret program used by the Department of Defense during the Vietnam War. The United States successfully extended and amplified the monsoon season over specific areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the supply route used by Vietnamese soldiers. The intent was to disrupt North Vietnamese military supplies by softening road surfaces and causing landslides. This is according to Wikipedia. Wikipedia also states, quote, the chemical weather modification program was conducted from Thailand over Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and allegedly sponsored by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and the CIA without the authorization of then Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird, who had categorically denied to Congress that a program for modification of the weather for use as a tactical weapon even existed. The Pentagon eventually declassified Operation Popeye. You can see a Department of State government memorandum on Operation Popeye linked there on the article, but according to this Department of State memorandum, quote, the amount of rainfall induced by seeding during Operation Popeye is believed to have been sufficient to have contributed substantially to rendering vehicular routes in this area inoperable. Since the end of the rainy season, the communists have failed to undertake route repairs and there has been no vehicular traffic. In layman's terms, they destroyed the place with floods and killed many people as collateral damage. According to these government papers, the results of Operation Popeye were viewed by Department of Defense as outstandingly successful. The government memorandum states, if anything, the tests were too successful. Neither the volume of induced rainfall nor the extent of area affected can be precisely predicted. The only absolute control, therefore, is after the fact, i.e. to halt cloud seeding missions. In one instance, the rainfall continued as the cloud moved eastward across the Vietnam border and inundated a U.S. Special Forces camp with 9 inches of rain in 4 hours. In other words, cloud seeding missions can and do go wrong, and in some cases backfire. Organisations like the Weather Modification Association, created to vouch for, you guessed it, weather modification, says silver iodide is safe. Silver iodide is one of many dangerous chemicals they are spraying, along with strontium, barium, aluminium, and more. The problem is the general public is not aware of this information, so there are no questions or demands or unbiased studies. Silver iodide, as an example, has been linked to numerous health risks, including toxicity, reproductive disorders, developmental defects, and cancer. Symptoms of silver iodide toxicity include coughing, wheezing, and difficulty breathing. Silver iodide is extremely toxic and can cause severe burns if it comes into contact with the skin. Inhaling silver iodide can also be fatal. And that's just one of the dangerous substances they're regularly spraying in an effort to stop climate change. Now, we encourage viewers to read the rest of that article in full, but I want to draw your attention to the fact that the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration in the US, or NOAA, just scrubbed their records of weather modification on their website this week. These records were actually listed on their website due to their omics strategy for 2025, which mandated these be uploaded into the cloud by 2025 so that AI could better help us manage climate change in future. Thankfully, Z Media reported on this in June of 2023, so you can view this report and see the records for yourself at that time. Truly, many private companies are involved, and you can even see the counties involved in various things such as causing snow, stopping rain, causing rain, and much more. NASA has a publication called Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025. It discusses using the weather as a weapon of war by the year 2025. It was originally published in August of 1996. How far do you think they've come since that date in their ability to manipulate various aspects of the weather? Now, considering the government has used their weather modification operations as a weapon of war historically, and they are regularly conducting these operations in America and around the world, with the weather modification affecting or creating hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, or droughts, should people consider this as a war against them? Well, some certainly think so, and that's ignoring all of the toxic and carcinogenic chemicals that they are dropping in the process, which makes us sick. All one has to do is stop and look up. The skies are clearly not normal, and once noticed, you are quickly debunked by being told these are just condensation trails, although common sense would tell you these are clearly not regular flight paths, with the crisscrossing of these lines in the sky telling the story. Download Flight Radar. Have a look the next few times you see these relentless stripes in the sky visibly coming from an aircraft, and if you're like me, you may be surprised to find sometimes it is even private aircraft, energy companies, and even foreign militaries performing the act. RFK Jr. has promised to stop this crime. We eagerly look forward to it before even more damage is done. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the country's going in the right direction, or does it feel like everything's falling apart? If you're feeling alarmed, you are not alone. In fact, Americans from all walks of life have taken action to prepare for whatever's coming next, and that starts with having an emergency food supply. Storing food in your home is the right thing to do because we're living in crazy times, which explains why so many people are preparing. Starting Monday, you can get ready too with a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. It comes with delicious foods like creamy stroganoff, honey wheat bread, and mushroom rice pilaf. The entire kit offers over 2,000 calories every day. This food kit lasts up to 25 years. Who knows what the country will look like then? But when that day comes, you'll be ready. Go to preparewithvnn.com now to order your 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithvnn.com.